Hello, this is the solution for programming assignment 2 of week 7 of the joy of computing with Python. So I will be showing you all how to code this program, and for those of you who don't really care and just want the code, I will be putting a link in the description with the code below. So the problem statement is we input a number which will represent the number of rows and columns. Then we need to input each row in one line of input. So the way we do this is we need to first take the input from the user. We will need an array, and we need to populate the array with the input values. Range n. So append the array with an array of so we call the input function, but not for a single input, for a number of input in one line, and a space delimiter. So when we input something with the space in between each element, it's going to append to the array. So here you can describe the space delimiter that you want. By default it is space. We can test this by printing the array. So we need to put a space in between each element. We can just define the space delimiter over here. So if it's like a hash, we need to put hash in this, in the split function. And now we have a matrix. So to traverse through this array, we will need to define 4 indexes. That is the first row index, the last row index, the first column index, and the right column index. So first row index is 0. Last row index will be the length of the array minus 1. First column, that is left, index will be 0. Right column index will be number of columns, that is length of a 0 minus 1. So if it's 3 it will be 2 here, if it's 3 it will be 2. So we will start from the number 4. So we need to get the index of this element, that is 0, 1. So now this side is the left column and this is the row plus 1. So we need to store that in a backup previous variable. First row plus 1. So and the column is the first column, that is your left. Now we need to start changing the value of this row. So basically we want to replace the 4 with 1 here. So that will need a loop. Starting from the left column to the right column. Now since the left column is 0 and the right column is 2, we'll need another index here, plus 1, so that it iterates till the end. So now we need another variable to save this element 1, because if we directly replace it, it's gonna be lost. So current variable equal to the index of that is row is first, and I will give you the column. Yeah, the rows remain same. And since we have it now stored, we change the value to the previous, that is 4. Now for the next iteration, the value of current will be defined again, so we need to save it in previous. Swapping basically. So now the next iteration, I will become the second element, that is 2. 2 will be saved in current variable, and the previous value will go in the index of 2, that was 1. For the next iteration, I will go to the index of 3. 3 will be saved in current variable, and the index of 3 will replace with 2, which was saved previously in previous, and then we save the 3 in previous. Now the next number we need to focus is on 6, since we need to push the number 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and 9 in the previous variable. So to do that, we need to increment start from 0 to 1, because we're focusing this value here. So we need first row value to 1. And we need to loop it again, starting from first to last plus 2 plus 1, because we want to iterate it twice, not once. If it's from first to last, then it's gonna iterate only once, because first is 1, last is 2. We save this 6 basically. So this is the rightmost column. So the row is I, since I is 2 at the moment, 1 at the moment. The next iteration, the I will change to 2, so this is correct. And the column is the rightmost column, that is right. So we save the variable. Now we change it to the previous value, that was 3 previous, and we save the current variable in previous now. So for the next iteration, the same will happen as in the first loop, that is I will change to 9. 9 will be saved in current. The position of 9 will change with the previous variable, that is 6, and 9 will be saved in the previous variable. It will run twice. Next, now we need to focus on the number 8, since we need to replace it with 9, and 8 has to be pushed forward, and 7 has to be saved in the previous variable. So we need to access 8, so that can be done by decrementing the right column by 1. So now we can use a loop, starting from right to left, -1. The -1 is needed here for the same reason as we added +1s here. So basically we are on 8 right now, since we decremented right by 1. So we want to traverse it twice, not once. So we need to put a -1 here. And since we are decrementing, we are going left side, we need to put a step as -1, the third parameter of range. Now it's the same function. We need to define current equal to 8, the index of 8, that is a of last row, comma I, and change the value of the that index to the previous value, that is 9, and then save the current value in previous. For the next iteration, it will take 7, store it in the current variable, swap it with 8 from the last iteration, and save 7 in previous. So now we need to traverse on top, so we need to decrement the bottom, the last row. So for this again we will need a loop, starting from last to first, -1, since we need to iterate it twice, and since we are going back, we need to put a step as -1. So the same thing, we need the index of 4. Okay, last is 1 at the moment, so I, comma, column is left, change that to previous and previous to current. Now we need to traverse to 2 since we're going from left to right. So left plus 1, left column plus 1. Because now we have in the last iteration there'll be 1 stored in the previous value, so we need to push 1 to 2. Suppose it's a 4 by 4 array. So left plus equal to 1. So we can check this by printing the array. So yeah, it's working. 4 1 2 7 5 3 8 9 6. That is the same as 4 1 2 7 5 3 8 9 6. So, but the only problem with this is it works only for the number 3. So if we try 4, you can see that only the outer line is being rotated clockwise. So 1 goes here, 5 goes on top, 9 comes on top, and 1 comes on top here. So it's working only for the outer line. So for the inside line, it's staying the same. That's because we are using this loop only once. We need to iterate it twice for when the number is 4. So we do that by adding a while loop here. The condition for the while loop will be, so basically this is a 3 by 3 matrix. You have your left, right, top, first and last. So you see here that you're incrementing your first to plus 1, so it's first is here now, and your last to minus 1. So last and first are equal to are the same. Same for your left and right. Left is being incremented and right is being decremented, so it's going to meet here. So we can just put a condition that they are not equal. So for 3 by 3 matrix it works because there's only one outer matrix. So we can say left is less than, as long as left is less than right and first is less than bottom, that is last. Do this. So when it's a 4 by 4 matrix here, left will go to this column, right will go to this column. So it's not equal yet. It's still left is still less than right, and start will go to the second column, second row, and last will come to the second last row. So it's still not equal. It's start is still less than first is still less than last, and both conditions meet. So it will run once more for the inside matrix. We also need to put this statement inside the while loop. Otherwise, for the second in the matrix, it won't change the first value. That is 4 for the outer matrix in this example. So we can check this now. Yeah, so 5 1 2 3 has come here. 4 8 5 6 4 8 5 6 has been pushed down. 5 2 has been pushed down. So outer matrix is working. Inner matrix is 6 7 7 6. So it should be 7 6 7 6 7 6 7 6 7 6 7 6. Sorry, so it's working. So now we need to check it in Swayam. So I've already checked it here. We just need to remove the brackets and the new line after the last row. So to remove brackets we use asterisk before the arrow, and as for the last row we need to check if I equal to the length of the array minus 1. So that is, if it's 3 then 2. So when it's same, it's the last row. When it's the last row, we remove the end line, new line, and replace it with blank. Else we print the same. And there you go, passed all. So that will be it for this video. Thanks for watching.